All right, welcome back, True Seeker. I just realized as we're getting on the air here, I didn't check to make sure my audio settings are right. My bad. Give me 1 second just to make sure I'm coming through, and I think we're good. Alrighty, so it's Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. A lot of us are waking up to headlines today about a man being killed in Louisville, part of the George Floyd protests. In Louisville, it's also a protest for a woman named Breonna Taylor, who was apparently murdered by police March 13th. We're going to talk about all of these incidents and how they all connect. Breonna Taylor, David McAtee, George Floyd. There's a very clear riddle. And, of course, Louisville, where this is happening, is the hometown of Muhammad Ali, who was obviously a very famous individual, an athlete, a civil rights leader. We're going to talk about that piece as well because it's connected. But before we get to this Louisville thing, I want to give a shout out to Travis, who tipped me off to this last night. Very great observation from Travis. They say that George Floyd, they say the man that killed him, Derek Chauvin, was on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. On September 11th, 2001, they say the first plane that hit Flight 11, that hit the World Trade Centers, hit at 8:46. And remember, we were already wondering about this. If they were trying to tie this to 9/11, another psychological operations meant to play with the minds of the masses for the sake of an agenda. 8:46 a.m. when the Twin Towers were hit, 8 minutes and 46 seconds on the neck of George Floyd. And remember, the George Floyd thing happened during the time of Gemini. And Gemini are the twins, like the World Trade Centers were the Twin Towers. And, George Floyd, it happened in the Twin Cities. Again, during the time of Gemini. And then Stephen Jackson came out and said that George Floyd was his twin. And recall, George Floyd in Gematria sums to 119. The date September 11th in the majority of the world is expressed 11/9, like 119. The same day as the George Floyd killing, which was Memorial Day, May 25th. And think about that, tying it into 9/11, Memorial Day is to remember dead soldiers, 9/11, wars, dead soldiers. But the same day as the George Floyd killing, you had the story of Amy Cooper, a white woman who called the police on a black man who was bird watching in Central Park because the black man asked the white woman to put her dog on a leash. And then she was captured on video choking her dog the same day police choked out George Floyd. And again, that story came out of Central Park in New York. So George Floyd 119, Central Park 119, All-Seeing Eye 119, Masonic symbolism. The All-Seeing Eye is the minds of the masses, controlling the minds of the masses as these psychological operations do from 9/11 to George Floyd. So what are the odds? 8 minutes, 46 seconds, 9/11, the plane hits at 8:46. Twins, Twin Towers, Twin Cities. Don't forget, Minneapolis, Minnesota is on the 93rd meridian west, and the World Trade Centers were bombed in 1993. That bombing was blamed on the blind sheik that equals 93, like Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I just wanted to throw that thought out there. Shout out to Travis. Of course, I'm finishing up the book right now that connects the psychological operations of 9/11 and coronavirus and what they're really about, building the police surveillance state. And now they've encoded all the same numbers into the George Floyd ritual, which is getting people to act out as another excuse for Big Brother to build their police surveillance state. And a lot of people don't understand how these pieces of the puzzle connect. But yes, the book will be a little bit longer than I planned because there's a lot of information about this George Floyd thing that now needs to be a part of it. But still close to finishing. Just have to tuck a few more things in. Make sure people understand what's really being done to us. Okay, so now let's talk about the Louisville thing. This Louisville latest killing of David McAtee They say the police left his body out on the streets for 12 hours. Does that remind you at all of the Michael Brown story where the Ferguson police left his body out in the streets for 4 hours for no reason? And again, if you can still dig up that footage of the Michael Brown killing, his body, when they finally picked it up, was loaded into the back of a police SUV, not even an ambulance. Why would they load a dead body into the back of a police SUV? So, David McAtee reportedly killed yesterday, June 1st, the second day of the anniversary of the Tulsa race riots. And I just want you to see what the name David McAtee equals. It equals 42, number they love to code into these killings again and again. In Omaha, there was a young man killed at a George Floyd protest. His name was James Scurlock, 42. These riots have been compared to the Ferguson, Missouri riots after the death of Michael Brown, whose body was left in the street. Now, like David McAtee, Ferguson's 42, Missouri's 42. Recall when they put out the image of the killer of Michael Brown, Darren Wilson, they showed him in this Blues t-shirt with the number 42 on it. First image put out of the media of the Michael Brown killer. Again, this is Darren Wilson. And, you know, it reminds of Rodney King, who was born on April 2nd, 4-2. Again, 42 is the number stamped all over black history. February equals 42, slavery 42, history 42, Tuskegee 42, the N-word 42, bus 42, black history on the bus, Malcolm X 42, Martin 42, Muhammad Ali 42. Right now we're talking about Louisville, Muhammad Ali's hometown. Plus, there's more. This latest killing in Louisville came on the anniversary of the Tulsa race riots, which equals 181. Remember, 181 is the 42nd prime number. Black history equals 181. Memorial Day equals 181. George Floyd just killed on Memorial Day. 181, the 42nd prime. And recall, a few years back, you had the killing in Tulsa, the Crutcher twin story. A brother and sister who were twins. The brother's vehicle had problems. He was on the road. His sister called the police for him. The police showed up and shot and killed him. Story that didn't make any sense, but we broke it down then. All the same numbers as usual. Crutcher twins, 181, the 42nd prime, the name Crutcher, 42. Again, that was in Tulsa in tribute to the Tulsa race riots. Now you have rioting throughout the nation, where curfews are being installed because of the rioting on the anniversary dates of the Tulsa race riots. This happened back in 1921, May 31st and June 1st. In this latest story out of Louisville, they're saying the officers who killed David McAtee, they weren't using their body cameras. And just notice, body camera equals 42. We've talked about this riddle with 42 in years past because years ago, when you had these white officers killing these unarmed black men, the headlines were, should officers start wearing body cameras? And I was saying, look at this. They're having all these 42 killing rituals, and now they're asking you if officers should start wearing body cameras. And again, remember, it's a two-way street. You want officers to be accountable, so that's the reason to wear body cameras. But at the same time, they're building this surveillance police state with cameras everywhere, surveillance over all things. But just realize how they encode it all. 42, 42, 42, it never stops. Now, Muhammad Ali, his hometown is Louisville. You might recall, in 2014, I predicted why Muhammad Ali would die at age 74. And it's because the name Muhammad equals 74. He did die at age 74 in 2016. So that was a prediction I put out in 2014, one of many correct predictions over the years. 74 is a very special number. But when Muhammad Ali died in 2016, he died on June 3rd. And they say the Prophet Muhammad died at age 63. Muhammad Ali died on June 3rd, 6-3 in the year 2016. When you add 1 through 63 together, it equals 2016. So Muhammad Ali's death was a major ritual. And you might recall after his death, they did a 19-mile funeral procession. And then right after that, college football began. And Lamar Jackson, playing for Louisville, he was the 19-year-old phenom. And all that year, Louisville had Lamar Jackson's birthday listed as the exact same day as Muhammad Ali's. When he moved on to the NFL, all of media changed his birthday to a new birthday date. But when he played at Louisville, Lamar Jackson had the same listed birthday as Muhammad Ali. That was something we documented several times that year. 19-mile funeral procession, 19-year-old phenom at Louisville with the same birthday as Muhammad Ali at the time. And remember what 19 symbolizes. In the Quran, the Muslim holy text, 19 is the number that brings the whole book together. If you look up the Quran code, it's centered on 19. Remember how on 9/11 they said there were 19 hijackers? And how many years is it from 2001 to 2020 when all this is going on? 19 years. 19 represents the cycle of the moon. The moon's on a 19-year cycle. Every 19 years, it appears in the exact same place in the sky that it did 19 years earlier. So on January 1st, 2001, the moon's in the same place as it is January 1st, 2020, and so on. The word chaos also has Gematria of 19, and of course the Masonic and Jesuit motto is order out of chaos. Now, what I didn't know in 2016 is how when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Muhammad Ali equals 201. Just like how George Perry Floyd's 201. And just like how yesterday we did 2 live streams talking about the number 201, number of the Jesuits. If you missed yesterday's videos, just real quick, as quick as I can do this, the killing of the man in Omaha, James Scurlock, his name has 42 encoded as we covered. His name also sums to 201. The numbers in his name are just like Muhammad Ali, 42 and 201. And also yesterday in Paris, France, the home of the Jesuits, they were protesting the killing of George Floyd as well as a 2016 killing, Adama Traore. And again, just one more time, Adama Traore was killed July 19th, 2016, which was the 201st day of the year, exactly 201 weeks before the killing of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020. Again, this is in Paris, France, the home of the Jesuits, where 201 is the Jesuit number. And just think about it. These 2 men being protested, one having a name of 201, the other killed on the 201st day of the year, killed 201 weeks apart. Again, 201 is the number of the Jesuits. We learned this because of Event 201, the coronavirus outbreak simulation of October 18, 2019. We were trying to figure out why they called it Event 201. Major Jesuit presence there. The Jesuit Order 201, their founder Ignatius of Loyola 201, the first publicly Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio 201, and so on. Again, Jesuits, Scottish Rite Freemasons, those are the entities in this nation's capital, Washington, D.C., Georgetown, the Jesuit University, where Anthony Fauci said at the beginning of 2017 that Donald Trump would face a surprise outbreak and pandemic. Anthony Fauci, a Jesuit. Again, the Jesuits in the history books were saved when Catherine the Great preserved 201 Jesuits after the Jesuits were banned themselves by the Catholic Church. So there can be no mistake about it. What it also goes to show is it was likely the Jesuits who were behind the renaming of Muhammad Ali from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. Again, if you're new here, we've talked about for years the influence of Masonry and the Jesuits in the rigging of sports. Jesuit equals 42, the Jesuit Order 201, encoded in Muhammad Ali's name, who took that name by the numbers, things I covered in my last book, if you have not read it. But in light of this being Louisville's town, and Muhammad Ali dying at age 74 by the numbers, notice Muhammad's 74, I Can't Breathe is 74, and Breonna Taylor, the other woman killed in Louisville, who's being protested, her name's 74. Not only that, but Breonna Taylor was killed March 13th. George Floyd killed May 25th. Right now they're protesting in Louisville the killings of these 2 people. And now they'll be protesting the killing of David McAtee too, right? Because now that's the 3rd death there. But look at this. From the day she was killed to the day George Floyd was killed, a span of 74 days. I won't even talk about the 2 months and 13 days and all the 213s we've been uncovering, but a span of 74 days apart. 74. Killing, Masonic, occult, Gematria, English, it's all 74. Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Occult means hidden. These secret societies into this hidden knowledge, esoteric knowledge. Astrology, Gemini, the twins, Twin City killing, now being riddled with the demise of the Twin Towers from 19 years ago, with the 19 hijackers. But this is how they do it, again and again. And, of course, Benjamin Crump, the lawyer for George Floyd, Benjamin Crump, a member of the Boule and Prince Hall, both Masonic orders. We've been talking about the riddles with that in past videos. But again, Benjamin Crump represented Trayvon Martin, whose father was a Mason. He represented Michael Brown in Ferguson. He represented Tamir Rice in Cleveland. And by the way, this name Breonna, the way it's spelled, equals 33. Just like race war, like masonry, like secrecy, like order, like federal, like Cleveland. Like how Trayvon Martin was buried on March 3rd, 3-3. Like how Rodney King was beaten on 3-3 by the LAPD 33, police 33. Interesting spelling of Breonna Taylor. Again, you got to ask yourself, how can all of this be done if it's all not perfectly planned and coordinated, choosing the right people with the right names, 74 days apart? Again, shortly after midnight on March 13th, Louisville police executing a search warrant used a battering ram to crash into the apartment of Breonna Taylor, a 26-year-old. 26, really? Remember, Floyd's 26. His license plate had 26 on it. Riots, 26. Park is 26. George Floyd killed by the Park police the same day as the Central Park incident with Amy Cooper choking her dog. Dog, 26. Floyd, 26. Floyd Mayweather now paying for the funeral. By the numbers. But that date, March 13th, is also curious because it can be written 13/3, like 133. Minnesota's 133. Government's 133. They got the mother of David McAtee in the news today saying her son was killed for no reason. And can't help but notice that her name's Odessa Riley. Riley's got the gematria of 33, like Michael's 33, like Darren's 33. Again, her son was left in the street for 12 hours for no reason. Remember, the first thing to burn in Ferguson was an O'Reilly auto parts store. O'Reilly's also 42, like Ferguson, like Missouri, like how in Minneapolis they burned the AutoZone, which equals 99. Like Cup Foods, like Garner, who was choked out by number 99, and now we have all these rituals going down on the 99-year anniversary of the Tulsa Riots. And again, you guys, I already wrote a book about this. We've been explaining it for years. They do all this stuff ritualistically. They pay tribute to history's past while creating new history. They make history repeat itself by the numbers, and they force it. And they use their code and their technology, the mainstream media and their henchmen, the police force, and these sellout news anchors to do it. Sarah Seidner was born on the anniversary of the race riots. She was the one there in Ferguson helping trigger the race riots with her TV coverage as they busted the people who came in protest. So look at this. This news comes today. The mayor has fired the police officers who didn't have their body cameras on, who are responsible for the killing of David McAtee. So this comes today, June 2nd, 6/2. Look at this. The mayor who's doing this is 62 years old right now, right? And we talked about this number a whole lot with the George Floyd thing. Notice Louisville's 46 forward, 62 in reverse, like George Floyd was killed at age 46. Riot is 62 and 46. Floyd is 62, officers 62, George is 62. George is up there because this comes on the back of the Ahmaud Arbery story out of Brunswick, Georgia. And just to remind what's up with the Brunswick, Georgia ritual, Remember, they arrested the father and son responsible for the killing of Ahmaud Arbery on May 7th, which was 74 days after the February 23rd killing. Again, Masonic 74, and Jewish Gematria, it's 223, like how the killing was on February 23rd. Same numbers again and again. Brunswick GA's got that 47 Gematria, 47 degrees on the Masonic compass out of France. The protest for George Floyd in France was yesterday, a date with 47 numerology. Scottish Rite is also 57. So is the name George. Think about George Washington, the Scottish Rite Freemason who became president at age 57. Gemini is also 57. All these stories being interconnected, a web of stories by the numbers meant to, do exactly what they're doing. Create feelings of anger, fear, division, outrage, chaos. So you see how they do it? Louisville. It's got the right numbers. George Floyd, 46 years old. Floyd, 62. I could add up there, Park is 62. Again, he was killed by the Park police. Chaos is 46. The Masonic motto, order out of chaos, in Latin is ordo ab chaos, ciao, cow. I never know how to say it right. Sorry, I never took Latin. It might be ordo ab chaos. I know a lot of people learned the mispronunciations from me, and I feel bad. But whatever it is, the phrase is 46, just like chaos, which we've talked about for years. It's been pointed out that George Floyd, as seen in the porn video that he participated in, has the Masonic tattoo on his chest. The double-headed eagle that's often with those words, that's etched all over Masonic temples. Notice this Masonic symbolism with the Pentagon there. The nation's War Department. Again, this whole thing is a military operations. Your media is a military psychological operations. This nation's a giant military police empire. And again, they didn't choose a five-sided object as the military department by accident, just like they didn't encode a unfinished pentagram in the streets of Washington by accident. The whole city was laid out by Masons who are into this occult esoteric symbolism. It's not an accident that we have five-pointed stars to represent our states on our flag. The five-pointed star represents Sirius, the dog star to the Masons. Again, you got this riddle choking out a dog the same day as George Floyd, who has the order out of chaos on his chest, who's 46 years old reportedly at the time of his killing, who's from Houston, Texas, which equals 46 and 62 as well. But from the mayor's birthday to the killing on June 1st, from his birthday to the killing, his birthday's January 14th, from his birthday to the killing, 139 days later, Freemasonry's 139. Remember, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules numerology, Freemasonry's 59. The killing in Minneapolis was 59 days from their mayor's birthday. But Freemasonry's 139. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, America's 139. This killing, this latest killing, 139 days after the mayor's birthday, Freemasonry 139. The word Mason 62. Again, 62 encoded all over the ritual. He's 62 years old. He makes these firings in Louisville on 6/2 the day after. And the killing was on a date with 47 numerology, June 1st, 2020. 47 degrees, again, on the Masonic compass of the Scottish Rite out of France. Washington, D.C., where 47's encoded everywhere, laid out by the Scottish Rite Freemason L'Enfant, the L'Enfant plan. So, it couldn't really be any clearer what's going on here. And just as one more reminder about the Ahmaud Arbery story by the numbers, they released the video of his killing on May 5th, 5/5. Video equals 55. The video comes out on 5/5. That was 72 days after the killing. Ahmaud Arbery 72. Jesuit orders also 72 in light of the Jesuit fingerprints being all over this. And that happened in Brunswick, Georgia, which equals 97. 97 is the 25th prime number. Death, 97 and 25. What day was George Floyd killed? The 25th of May. 20 days later, over a $20 bill. When you run the alphabetic order the other way, death is 20. Remember, death equals 38, 20, 97, 25. Just like Omaha is 38, 20, 97, 25. And we just talked about the killing in Omaha, Nebraska. Now that I think about it, Nebraska is also 26 like Floyd at a George Floyd protest. Riot 26. And again, the date he was killed, February 23rd, 223, the 48th prime. Ahmaud's 48. Freemason also has that Gematria 48. Georgia's 44, like shooting, like execution, like how Minneapolis is on the 44th parallel and George Floyd was killed by the 44-year-old officer. Race riots is 44. We talked about that with the Terrence Crutcher killing years ago in tribute to the Tulsa race riots. And just as another reminder, also in the headlines, Lamar Ferguson speaks out about being assaulted by the Asian officer in the George Floyd killing video. Lamar Ferguson, 6 years ago, 2014, the Ferguson incident, also the killing of Eric Garner. 6 years earlier, just like how the George Floyd video starts by the cameraman capturing the 6 on the garbage can next to where he was pinned by the officer. But one more time, Lamar Ferguson got the 60. The N-words got the 60 and 42 like Ferguson and Missouri are 42. And in his name, it also codes the 201. They emphasize that headlined up there that equals, punched and kicked him until his teeth broke, which again equals 201. It also equals 177, like the date that Eric Garner was killed, 17/7. Again, Eric Garner selling cigarettes legally, reportedly. George Floyd trying to buy cigarettes with a forged $20 bill in 2020 or a counterfeit. And again, yesterday that caller pointed out that the $20 bill has Andrew Jackson on it. Andrew Jackson died on June 8th. This coming Monday will be June 8th, the 160th day of the year. Martial law equals 160. Andrew Jackson was the first president to declare martial law. Right now there's talk in the headlines of will they declare martial law because of the protests going on. Martial law has the same gematria as Minnesota, the trigger event for all of this. Doing things by the numbers, ritualistically paying tribute to history by a code. Martial law also has the same gematria as coronavirus. You got George Floyd posing next to the Corona Light beer. Image put out by the mainstream media from the same nightclub where he worked with Derek Chauvin, who reportedly killed him. And we're supposed to just shrug at that like it's a coincidence that they work together at the same place. The coincidence theorists will say, well, maybe they hated each other. Maybe they had beef from working at the club together. Okay. More logical thing is this is an obvious psychological operations by the mainstream media that's played with your head your entire life. Presented to you coincidence after coincidence, day after day. Expected you to not blink an eye. And by the way, shout out to the caller last night who pointed out that George Floyd played for TG Sports. And notice he played for a basketball team here for them for 20 years. But notice even on their page, in memory of George Perry Floyd, they spell out the whole name. The name of the team he played for was the TGBTG Quest Team. Notice it's 177 and 201, just like the Jesuit order. And yes, a second ago, that emphasized headline with the Lamar Ferguson story, what they emphasized equaled 177 and 201. The exact same thing. The Jesuit order, forwards 177 and reverse 201, just the exact same. George Perry Floyd 201. The acronym TGBTG 56 and 79, like Society of Jesus 56 and 79. And I'll remind people, Anthony Fauci, the Jesuits and Society of Jesus are the exact same thing. Two names for the same thing. Anthony Fauci equals 56. The pandemic for coronavirus, which equals 56, began on his 79th day of being 79 years old. Look at the symbolism for TGBTG. You see the cross right in the middle of the basketball? You don't think the Jesuits are behind this? Think again. Like I've always explained for years, the Jesuits have the most influence in the world of basketball and all the sports At least that's what's been clear through the evidence that's been given to us over the years. Again, here's their page in memory of George Perry Floyd. So, the Quest team, the word Quest is used for a lot of things. It just reminds me, though, that Manly P. Hall, who revealed this knowledge of Gematria in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, he has another book, The Secret Destiny of America, where he talks about how the United States of America was founded by a Masonic order called the Order of the Quest, which happens to equal 74 like Masonic, with the purpose of building a one-world government. Coronavirus is going on. People are at home watching things like Global Citizen, One World Together. Again, they want one world, one giant surveillance system, one currency, one way to track all people at all times, every last thing about them, where they are, how much money's in their bank account, how hard are they working. They want everyone under the watchful eye of Big Brother. And again, just as a reminder about the curfew being declared, the curfew is being declared nationwide on the anniversary of the Tulsa Race Riots. This began May 31st, 2020, a date with 76 numerology. On the 31st, curfew 76 and 31. It was the 99-year anniversary of the Tulsa Race Riots in Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 76 and 31. The Tulsa Race Riots began May 31st, 1921, a date with 76 numerology. Tulsa, Oklahoma is 76. Negro Slave Rasta Blues 76. The Million Man March on the day leaving 76 days left in the year. Acts 7:6. By the way, Acts is the 44th book of the Bible. But Acts 7:6, again about the prophecy of 400 years, slaves living in a foreign land being mistreated. And according to U.S. history books, those 400 years ended August of 2019. And that's why we said in September of 2018 to watch out for August of 2019 and pay attention to around that time and shortly after, because around that same time we should see the next 9/11, the next major psychological operations in the 19-year cycle, paying tribute to history, biblical prophecy, because this is how the cabal works. This is what we've exposed for years. Acts 7:6, about slaves being mistreated in a land for 400 years, which again expired last year in Virginia, August of 2019. And the next verse in Acts is Acts 7:7, about how that nation will be punished. And United States equals 77. Secret Society 77. The nation's capital on the 77th meridian west. So again, that's why we said that. Watch out for Acts 7:6, Acts 7:7, the end of 2019, going into 2020, 19 years after 2001. As per usual, right on with the predictions, because we figured out how they're operating, what their code is, what their playbook is. And the Jesuits, who are part of the church, doesn't it only make sense that they would use the Bible as such? With regards to it being the 99-year anniversary of the Tulsa Race Riots, remember all the 99s they're encoding everywhere. The killing of George Floyd in front of Cup Foods 99. And no, it's not an accident that they got this viral mainstream media with the Lakers person holding the Justice for George Floyd sign. The Lakers are from Minneapolis. We talked about this coming, being synced up with the world of sports before any of this imagery was even out, because again, this is what they do. But Cup Foods 99, Garner 99, Racism 99, Eric Garner choked out by number 99, George Floyd killed across the street from the gas station with the 99-cent clearly up on their price. Both stories about cigarettes, both stories about asphyxiation. Cigarettes 163, asphyxiation 163. That's the 38th prime. George Floyd killed on 38th Street in Minnesota. Minnesota equals 38, death 38, murder 38, killing 38, RIP 38, rapper 38. It's come out that he was a rapper in Houston known as Big Floyd, which equals 44, like how he was killed by the 44-year-old officer. KRS-One gave you the Sound of the Police song, where he talks about overseer and officer, both words that equal 44, like kill, like military. You got the headlines of the racist president, 99. You got the United States of America, a nation built on racism, 99, which was named on September 9th, 1776. You got Kobe Bryant in the I Can't Breathe t-shirt. I Can't Breathe 74. It's the 74th NBA season. The Lakers originally from Minneapolis. You got riddles on top of riddles. So, yeah, I'll let that go for now. And by the way, remember Tiger in Jewish Gematria equals 201. It's been a year of Tigers. It started with the college football championship between the Clemson Tigers and the LSU Tigers. You've had the Tiger King. You've had Tiger Woods winning the coronavirus tournament for golf. You've had Pink come out posing with her son, where supposedly they both survived coronavirus. She made sure her son was dressed in a tiger jacket. You had Nadia the tiger become the first non-human to be tested for coronavirus. Tiger is 201 in Jewish Gematria. Yesterday, more Tiger King headlines by the numbers. On June 1st, 2020, the date with 47 numerology, there's a headline that Carol Baskin's going to get Joe Exotic Zoo. Remember, both their names are 47, so perfect story for the 47 date numerology. Tiger 201, Event 201, the coronavirus outbreak simulation of October 18, 2019. That was a date with 47 numerology, plus it was the day leaving 74 days left in the year. Don't forget that same day, the Military World Games took place in Wuhan, China. The Military World Games began in Rome, where the Vatican is, who the Jesuits serve. Vatican's 47, Francis 47, the first publicly Jesuit pope. So anyway, Truth Seeker, it's rituals on top of rituals. It's mockery in numbers on top of more mockery in numbers. If you got here late, they're saying George Floyd had the officer on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. George Floyd 119. The same day you had the racism story in Central Park, New York, another 119 to control the mind's eye of the masses, the all-seeing eye 119. And September 11th, a date written 11/9 in the majority of the world, the first plane reportedly hit at 8:46 a.m. The Twin Towers, not to be confused with George Floyd in the Twin Cities on the first day of Gemini. The twins, or excuse me, not the first day of Gemini, but right at the start of Gemini, the twins in the Twin Cities. And I just want to show one more thing. We covered this a few times days ago, but let's just do it one more time. Steven Jackson coming out saying that, see, I think I got it in this post. Steven Jackson coming out and saying that, no, it's not that one. Hold on. I already got so many George Floyd posts. Maybe I put it in here. But Steven Jackson came out and said that George Floyd was his twin. And I just want you to see that Steven Jackson's 42 years old right now. And of course, Steven Jackson on his Instagram has been posting all this stuff showing his father's Freemason memorabilia. But, yeah, here it is right here. Steven Jackson comes out and calls George Floyd his twin. He's 42 years old right now. Twin's 42. He's from Port Arthur, which happens to equal 56, like coronavirus. Just like the nightclub that Derek Chauvin and George Floyd both work at equals 56. But anyway, just more 42 symbolism. 42-year-old Steven Jackson comes out and calls him his twin. Chokes 42, the N-word, brothers, slavery, Missouri, Ferguson, Martin, May, the month of May. Plus all the other ones we covered. And the list is a lot longer than that, so... Learn the code, see through the psychological operations, understand the predictive programming. Some of you guys keep asking me to do a better decode on this song Minnesota by the rapper Lil Yachty. Again, I will do that in time. I don't know why I've been dragging my feet on it. Probably because I'm trying to write a book and keep up with all this, and it's just so much. But don't forget that song came out on March 9th. Reminds of the anniversary of the death of Notorious B.I.G. Biggie, which equals 39 like New York, who died 74 days from his birthday, rapper 74. But that date can also be written 9-3 like 93, like Minneapolis, Minnesota 93, on the 93rd meridian. So, just to give you one more, because I can't remember if we... I'm not sure if I talked about this yet, but George Floyd, when he was being pinned, and if you watch the video, he calls out that he feels sleepy, among other things. And being from Houston, there was a NBA player who went by the name Sleepy Floyd, who was born Eric Floyd, Eric Garner, Sleepy Floyd. Look at this. Eric Floyd's 146, like how George Floyd was just killed on the 146th day of the year. And of course, Colin Kaepernick's also 146. Now people are calling for the NFL to bring him back because the symbolism's right. The man known for taking knees, like how George Floyd got a knee on his neck on the 146th day of the year. But Eric Floyd, 146, Sleepy Floyd, George Floyd, Houston, Texas. He played for the Houston Rockets. Drafted round 1, pick 13 like Kobe. Sleepy, 26 like Floyd. From his birthday, Sleepy Floyd, to George Floyd's death was 80 days later. Sleepy's 80, Bryant's 80, Boulay's 80. The Boulay. In Benjamin Crump's Boulay, Boulay equals 55 like Minneapolis, like Sigma Pi Phi, like Tulsa race riots. Again, there's even more, man. We could be here all day just breaking down all the riddles, but I'm trying to give the clearest ones that people can remember and share with others. So, again, I'm not going to take calls on this one, you guys. Again, I love to hear your voices and your information. It's just I need to get back to writing the book. I just want to make sure people in Louisville got this information. Grateful for all the people who can share this with other people. And shout out to Blue Ice. Thank you for the super chat. Blue Ice says, Zach, I have been protesting and have been Boulay and have seen Boulay and Masons. You can see it. I have it on video, and crisis actors asked me to act for $5,000. Well, I appreciate that. If you've been keeping video footage by chance, that would be awesome to upload. I have no doubt that what you're saying is true. Again, the people who are creating the chaos are people who are on payroll, and they're trying to get other people to act out. It's not to say that everyone participating in the chaos is in payroll, because some people will get inspired. They'll see somebody, vandalizing some things, setting some fire, and they'll be like, okay, this is my chance to act out too. But it's all being instigated by the media, by the police, and by the people who are controlled by these secret societies and by big money. So just to close out one more time with the thing about Boulay, remember, Sigma Pi Phi is the official name of Boulay, and those Greek letters using the Greek alphabet add up to 55, but Boulay's 55, Sigma Pi Phi, their official name, is 55, and Benjamin Crump, the lawyer, who's been a lawyer for a lot of these cases, he's a member of the Boulay as well as Prince Hall, and the killing of George Floyd was just blocks away from the Prince Hall Lodge. Boulay and Prince Hall are for black men who are Masons. But now they've tied this in with the Tulsa race riots, which is another 55, just like Minneapolis, where this got set off, is 55. And remember, 55 is the 10th triangular number. The Boulay's birthday is May 15th. 10 days after their birthday, you had this incident in Minneapolis. And of course, Kobe Bryant's a riddle with this. Kobe Bryant and his father are Boulay, just like LeBron James is Boulay. They put out Kobe's autopsy on the Boulay's birthday. They had his service or his memorial on February 24th, the 55th day of the year, which is also Floyd Mayweather's birthday. And again, it's riddles on top of riddles. And I forgot to mention earlier that Minneapolis is 62 like Louisville, where the latest action is happening. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Again, thanks for all the support, everyone. Thank you for sharing these videos and liking them. And I'll be back sooner than later. Back to work.